It's time you give yourself permission. You allow yourself to do the things you want to do, to be the person you truly want to be. And when we start doing this, it's kind of like a tsunami washes over all the false aspects and false parts that we have held on to and allowed to uphold this falsehood that we've called our reality. Allow yourself to be seen. Open up and feel that fear and do it anyways. What we want so truly and so authentically is usually guarded by so much fear and so much unknowing. Yet something deep inside us will continually crave that until we conjure up the strength to allow that to be. I hope you are amazing. I hope you are wonderful. And I know that you are ready to take this next step. We can get all of our ducks in line, as they say, have everything that we need, be taking the proper action. Yet, if we're not truly giving ourselves permission to be that version of self, to live that life we've imagined, it's all for nothing. Why don't we give ourselves permission? It's a lot of times out of fear and out of unworthiness for a multitude of reasons. An example is I've learned and read so much about how, going from poverty to wealth, so much of it is mental. Even when people have loads of money, they don't give themselves the permission to be rich because they feel like internally they're not worthy of that. Don't do that. We can learn from these stories. We can learn from these perspectives in how we can start preparing ourselves for our highest timeline now because we know it's our destiny. We know we're destined to be blessed and gifted and loved and safe and able to take care of those around us. Of course, we have a different dream in this reality. Each of us weave a different type of cloth, yet at the end of the day, we all share so much love. We all share so much abundance. And we can work together to create the platform in which it can come and be received with ease. Regardless of what you want for yourself, it's usually a lot different than the reality that we're living right now. Of course, there's a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of differences. And creating and stepping into a whole different life is so deep. It's so deep. It changes the entire foundation of which we've been breathing upon, Every little thing takes on a different tone, a different ting. And recognizing that we have to go through these foundational changes, these deep shifts in order to become a new version of self, to enjoy life in a different way, even just to see a new perspective. So much has to change. We can honor that system and we can allow, that caterpillar to become the butterfly. There's my mic. Oops. That just becomes so much of the journey is, getting in our own way. I think everyone's felt that in some respect. Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting in my own way. I'm, stopping this from unfolding. And it's very natural, it is a very natural thing. Oh my gosh. It's not too freezing, even though it looks like it, but yeah, getting in our own way and really, I am my own worst enemy. That is just kind of a timeless quote that just does not lose value because it's the truth. And that truth is actually super, super empowering. As much as, it teeters us not to think that way, it is. It's very empowering to realize I know who's gonna get in the way the most, myself. or this idea of self, however you want to interpret that, the more that we sit with that, the more that we can iron out the details and the difficulties and figure out what is really stopping us on our path. What is really getting in the way here? Is it insecurity? Is it lack of worth? Is it questioning worth? There's so many explanations, and we don't have to understand what it is that's stopping us from fully blossoming. We just have to be willing to accept it and to change it and to shift it. And then that's when the universe starts working itself out like life does. And then we'll be like, aha, that's what it was. Sometimes the understanding comes after, and that's okay. Yet, let this be an empowerment to you, that give yourself permission to become that version of yourself, that confident, that self-sufficient, that independent, that creative, whatever it means to you. Realize that you have to get the agreement from all parts of self. There's so much confirmation in life. It's really interesting. The more that I notice this, it's kind of like, are you sure you want to do this? Just like before you cancel a subscription to something, it's like, are you sure? Do you want to continue? You have to click yes. We have to do that in life too. Are you sure you want to become this version of self? Like, yes, I'm sure. And then you have to actually prove it through action and through thought, through behavior, through words, through all those things. We have to really confirm that version. And all of that starts by giving ourselves permission to explore that avenue. Give yourself permission to meet new people, to have new conversations, to try something different. It can be the simplest things, or it can really be the most fundamental and foundational things. Yet remembering that you have to give yourself permission for it to fully work out, for it to fully become what it's meant to be. And that time is always now. We can't give ourselves permission once we make this much money, or once I get to go here, or once I meet this special person. You have to give yourself the permission now, because that's a choice. That's not an outcome, that's a choice. And once we start recognizing what our outcomes and what our choices, more power, more fluency, more connection, more gratitude, more creativity. So as I wrap up this flow, just want you to know that wholeness is with you wherever you go. Wherever you choose, whatever you create, you will always be whole there. Yet you have to let the bird out of the cage for it to fully evolve and to fully become what it's meant to be. And we have to do that to ourselves too. When we start learning and becoming anew, we kind of start off in a cage because we have to figure out what works for us, what we need to change, what needs to work itself out. And eventually we get to a point where we need to open that cage. We need to allow ourselves to leave that cage. And that's what it means to give ourselves permission, to give yourself permission to gift the world with this version of self that you've created. And that time is always now, babe. All right, my love, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for clicking on this video, Earth and I fam, and I will see you next time.